It came quite literally and metaphorically out of a clear blue sky. Nobody saw this coming.
It was the blackest day in American history. No doubt about it.
Someone said, General, you need to turn on the television. I did that. And I watched along with the world as the second jet hit the second tower.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 2 passenger planes, hijacked by terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda, crash into the World Trade Center towers in New York.
When it first happened, and I first realized how bad it was, it took a while to understand how bad it was, and realized it was the worst attack in our history.
I remember thinking, well, the world is gonna change. I'm not sure how, but the world is gonna change.
34 minutes later, a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, hits the Pentagon. At 10:03, a fourth plane, believed to have been heading for the Capitol or the White House, crashes near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after passengers on board take on the hijackers.
We were stunned, we were frozen. And I know in our small community, that same feeling of helplessness and hopelessness was replicated out across the United States from coast to coast.
We watched while the fires developed. It was a horrible event, but almost no one, certainly no one around me, had any idea that the integrity of the entire towers was at risk.
At 10:28, the World Trade Center's North Tower also falls.
And there was a line of ambulances up the West Side Highway. It just went on forever. And they never called the ambulances, and nobody ever came. And after a while, we began to realize, like, oh my God, there aren't survivors.
The 9/11 attacks claim almost 3,000 lives in New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C.
People would walk up 6th Avenue, completely shell-shocked, and they'd be covered in white dust because the towers had just fallen around them.
You know, people call 9/11 our generation's Pearl Harbor. It was an attack by an enemy that no one really saw coming. It was devastating.
This was seen almost as a declaration of war by Al-Qaeda and transnational extremists on the American homeland.
But the worst attack on American soil serves to galvanize the nation.
I believe the terrorists attacked us for 2 reasons: to kill a lot of people and to kill our spirit. And they did kill a lot of people, but they didn't kill our spirit. People displayed a very brave attitude in the way they dealt with it. And I think the terrorists never expected that. Belief in freedom and the courage that it can give you overcame the ability of the terrorists to try to destroy the spirit of the country.
It was really weird being in the city after 9/11 because the city was so quiet. People would get on the subway, no one would speak. People were very polite to each other. You know, just everybody would move in, people would give up their seat, they wouldn't talk. It was just weird. It was almost like they realized how fragile everybody was.
Despite what happened and the horror and the loss kind of amazing that Americans could rebound. And, you know, they came back to New York. America came back to New York and helped New York, and spent money in New York, and visited New York.
We were able to do something so quickly, so expeditiously, in terms of getting back to order after the travesty of the World Trade Center when it came tumbling down. To have done that so quickly is amazing.
You have the worst attack in the history of the country in this small little tip of the island, and then 10 years later you go back and it's filled with people. More people have moved there than ever in the history of that neighborhood. Historically didn't have that many families living in it, and now the playgrounds right around the spot where the planes hit are filled with kids. And so there's kind of this sense of like, yeah, try it, fine. You can fly planes into our buildings, but you know what, we're gonna go back and we're gonna build a new life for ourselves there.
America rebuilds and looks to the future.